Okay. Are we all done with gratitude? Okay. Well, thank you guys. I wanted to get started really quickly. Hayes, I have a quick question for you. You had a closing, or you're having a closing today. How do you celebrate your closings? That's a question I ask everyone, and I'm curious to hear what you do.
So, okay, so today, my friend started a business where she's cooking from home and for people. And I wanted to support her. And last week I tried to support her, and she was all sold out of meals. So today I got, she's going to cook for me and deliver at 5 o'clock. So I'm pretty excited to not only support her new business,
Yes.
but to eat a really, really nice meal. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That sounds good. Now, is that Chef Angie?
Donna Davis.
Okay.
She's a Franklin Lakes mom who
Okay.
is an amazing she's a health coach, and she wanted to give this a try, and I'm super excited.
Okay, glad to hear it. Thank you for sharing. And Raj, I had a question for you. You mentioned 2 of your clients you were really grateful for, and they've given you tons of business. Do you have a set practice on when someone gives you a referral? Like, is there a gift you give them? And then at closing, is there something else you do when you get a referral?
I'm starting to, I didn't like, I didn't even think of that. I was such an idiot on that. And so now I use Gifttree, and I've sent out something to like contractor. Yeah, definitely. And the Deepak, for example, he's like, no, you don't have to get, and I pushed him, let's take you out for dinner. No. And this is obviously last year. And, and I'm like, I need to send you something. He's like, okay. And I'm like, I'm massively, you keep sending me. This week I'm working with a referral of his and him, because they're both stuff. And so Andrew, as well. Andrew, I do need to, but Gifttree is I do.
Okay. What I used to do, Raj, and you guys might want to try this, I would go to Starbucks and buy like a handful of $5 gift cards or $10 gift cards. Same thing for Dairy Queen. So if the person who referred me business had kids, I send them out. The minute I got the referral, thank you for thinking of me, take the kids out for ice cream, and I would mail that off immediately. And then of course at closing, there's always another gift as well. So that's awesome. I don't know about Gifttree. I'll have to look into it, but thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Can I ask you a quick question? When everyone has a closing, do you bring a closing gift at closing, or do you make another opportunity to go visit them again to bring a closing gift?
Whatever works.
I do it in the parking lot on the way out. Like I kind of wait till the end. If it's a buyer, actually both, The seller doesn't come to the closing, so I'll take it there. But for the buyer, I'll wait. But I'm not giving them anything until we close.
Right.
I bring it to the closing. And I've also given the same gifts to people that have given me some really big referrals, multiple referrals. So I have Cutco knives. So I'll give this the spreader.
Yes.
Which is all completely monogrammed with my brand. And I have given that to 2 people now who, as a result of their referrals, I've gotten some really good business. And they said, oh my God, you shouldn't have to do this. I said, I know, but I want to.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Anyone else? Any other input?
I have a question, Ira. Does it say spread the word?
Yes.
Mine says thank you for spreading the word.
Nice.
I have them too.
Yeah, I like that too. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I never thought of that. I'm doing it now.
I like it. Well, my Cutco representative gave us a script, and so we don't give the gift right at closing. We wait a week or 2 later, and we present them with the gift and say, I hope to give, work towards giving you a complete set. Because the day of the closing, like they're worried about moving in, they got boxes, the champagne's gone or whatever. And so a week or 2 later, they're a bit more settled and they can receive it, and they process it differently. And you're also asking them for more referrals because you want to give them a complete set.
Okay.
That's good.
I've had luck with welcome mats. Like nice, one of those grass big welcome mats you can get at Home Depot, and people like that. Yeah, or Home Sweet Home. I like that one. Home Sweet Home.
I think the
just
thing I've
always-
always liked about Cutco is not only is it a good gift they will use, you're able to write it all off because it's marketing, because your name's on it. And so you're not stuck to that budget that we have for referral gifts. Because it's marketing, you can spend more money and give them something really nice and write it off.
Because it's like $25, right, for like gifts or something like that.
I think it's
Yeah.
$25 for
$25
gift.
for a gift. However, if it's a marketing thing, you can spend kind of whatever. So I like
So
that.
you use the $25 for that immediate gift, the wine, the flowers, or whatever on the day
Yeah.
of, and then the more substantial gift a week or two later as a
Awesome.
follow-up.
Awesome. I
Great.
like it. Okay. Hey, so I wanted to talk today about our big whys. However, after our team meeting yesterday and the James Shaw call today, I wanted to talk about the assignment that Racham gave us. Who did their mid-year review? Did anyone actually print that out and actually fill it out?
I can't find it because I was distracted yesterday during the call.
Okay, I'll put it on the Morning Mindset
Thank you.
WhatsApp so you guys can do it. So no one did it. So what's that mean? Are we scared to see what that number is?
I
'Cause
wasn't
don't
there.
think out of 25 people on this call, I didn't see one person raise their hand that they actually printed out that form so that you can see where you are year to date versus where you want it to be to hit your goal. That concerns me. And it concerns me because I'm wondering, did we have a goal for this year? Did we throw it out the window because of COVID?
I downloaded the piece of paper and I am embarrassed to admit I'm technology spastic and I don't even know where to find those numbers.
Okay. I'll make it easy for you. I'll put it on the WhatsApp. So can I get you guys to do something that I think will give you a lot of clarity? This year is halfway over, and yet there's still a lot of time for us to go out there and get business. I think it would have a major impact in your activity if you printed that form out, and I'll put it on the Morning Mindset WhatsApp. Track where you are year to date. Look at what you're doing. And what they were sharing on the call today that made sense to me, and I'm sure it makes sense to all of you guys, what you really should be looking at is listing appointments and listings taken. That's going to be a great indicator of where you're headed for the rest of this year. And we all know we have until what date in order to get this stuff, under contract?
October 31st?
October 31st.
October 31st. I mean, that's right here, right? It's coming around the corner. So the fact that no one filled that out and we don't kind of know where we are really makes me feel like we definitely need to talk about our big whys. And one thing I heard on James Shaw's call yesterday was you need to test out your big why because it may not be big enough to get you to do what you need to be doing to have the year that you need to have financially. So I think maybe tomorrow night we can talk about that on the conversations about scripts and really get into like big whys. But more importantly today, I just want to encourage you guys to print that out. Really evaluate where you are. It's not what you expect out of the year, it's what you inspect. And if you don't know exactly where you are right now, you don't know where you're headed. And we really need to get on track. Tons of spiders everywhere. Anyhow, you got to get on track with where you need to be.
David,
Yes.
hi. So I left the call early yesterday, so maybe I missed that form, but I have my own form that I do tracking, which is very simple, that just builds from the bottom up my goal for appointments each month. And then I have a place for what actually I did. And then I have a goal for the transactions that I expect to do, whether that's a listing or a buyer.
Yep.
One. And I have that broken down by month, which has really helped me this year because I originally had a flow that was different than what it's turning out to be with the virus. So that's actually been good in terms of being able to go back to that and look at that and kind of reflow things.
I like that.
I had already modified my goal when the virus, when we were in the stay-at-home order. So by building it from the bottom up, what I found was originally I thought it was going to be a much smaller number. I still have a very decent goal for this year based on number of appointments, number of transactions that I intend to bring in. But it really helped me to see it and make some decisions, and I go into that on a regular basis so I can continue to modify it on it. And that's been really helpful for me because it builds it from the bottom up in terms of transactions and goals and appointments and conversion.
All right.
And then it ties into what the dollar amounts it would be.
No, I like that. And I like that you have a system that you are using, Kathy. Does anyone else have a different system? Maybe they're not using what Ration put out, but they have something else they're using to track. Raise your hands if that's the case. So Martha?
Yeah.
Are you the only person raising your hand? All right. So Ira, are you telling me you don't track your numbers at all?
No.
Haza, are you telling me you don't track your numbers?
No.
Tony, are you telling me you don't track your numbers? Reku, you don't track?
Kind of. So I use Airtable, but I just don't update it as often as I used to be, you know. But I use Airtable. I think it's great.
Okay. Jason, Mina.
Hey, David.
Steph,
good morning.
do you guys
Hello,
track
hello.
at all?
Can you hear me, man?
Yes,
There
sir.
you go.
My numbers are too small to track, unfortunately. They're kind of trackable on my two hands, but they're getting better though.
Yeah.
That's no, I'm not taking that.
So
Ron, say
what
go
I've-
ahead. Go ahead.
what I found myself, that keeps me from, tracking my numbers appropriately and like I should is reporting back to somebody else. And that's what I've been doing for a while now. So, every single day by 8 p.m. I need to report my numbers, and I can go back as far back as you need me to. I can tell you what days I submitted offers on, what days, how many meetings I had that day, so on and so forth. And then I also have a separate spreadsheet for my my closing and pending pipeline that I'm always updating as well. So if that helps anybody. Reporting back to somebody, when somebody has an expectation of you that you need to report your numbers to them by X day and time, you're more likely to track your numbers.
Agreed. Seems like we need to work on that. But more importantly, I think it's us being accountable to our big why. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. Like if our big why was really strong enough, we'd be tracking our numbers because our goal that we set for ourselves are really important. And we need to know if we're on track to hit those numbers or not. And I wonder if we're not having the year we want to have, is it because we don't really know how many listings we need and how many deals we have to close and how many appointments we have to go on, how many phone calls we have to make every day? Maybe we don't have that clarity. And if we actually took some time on this call to figure out our numbers and have some clarity around what we should be doing every day, maybe our results would be better. What do you guys think?
I feel like you were in my conversation with Sally Ponchak yesterday, but you weren't. She asked me the same question, and when I was working with Scott last year, I had come up with a goal on that. I'm going to call it the wrong thing, the GPS or the 1, 2, 3 form. There's some form you could fill out to do this.
Yes.
And I said, well, never mind my old goal because I don't even know where I'm at right now. And I told her what the goal was. And I said, so I don't think I'm there this year. And Sally said, hold on, give me a minute. She calculated a few things. She goes, Patty, not only could you hit that number, I think you can surpass it.
Of course you can.
So sometimes it's in your mind that I'm like, when Seth said his numbers were too small to track, that's kind of how I was feeling. Like, I'm not even going to enter this stuff because I'm not even going to reach that stupid goal I set last year. That's not going to happen, but I can. And when you break it down into smaller pieces, it makes every day doable. And I feel more motivated now to go get listings because I can do it, I think.
Well, yeah, and the whole thing, to your point, it is about chunking it down. It's like what you need to do for the year, but when you look at what you need to do this week and then say, okay, here's what I need to do today, it makes waking up easier and getting on the phone easier because you have chunked it down to what you have to do every day. I'm actually kind of speechless. So I need to figure out like what I can do, because I want to help you guys, because I know once I got clarity and I started tracking my numbers, it gave me so much focus. I want to see what we can put together that will help you guys come together with like one sheet tracking on your business so that you know who you are and what you need to be doing every day. It gave me so much clarity, and that's the only way I was able to cap, and that's the only way I was able to stay focused making calls every day, is because I knew my numbers. So if you guys would be open to it, I'd like to sit down and talk maybe to Sally and maybe come up with like a form that can help everyone on this call that wants to get more proficient at tracking, because you have to do it. You have to do it. If you want to hit your goals, if your goals are important to you, if your big why is big enough, you really need to be tracking where you are. And for only 1 or 2 people on this call to be tracking, that actually scares me.
It's kind of like a business plan, right? It's like what small businesses do. They do a business plan where they want to go. And I guess here it's like my average sales price is all over from like 300 to 900. So I'm like, I need to figure out like where.
You just need to figure out your average, and based on your average, it helps you come up with your plan. But like you said, like a small business plan, if we work for a business, it would be like, this would be our mid-year review. And if we didn't have numbers and we didn't know where we were, how do you think our review would go? It wouldn't go very well. We'd be on probation more than likely. However, because we work for ourselves, we just kind of shrug it off. Like, I don't have it. It's okay. It's not okay because we're business owners. This is our business. And people are out there making tons of money. And the one reason we're not is because we're not tracking our activities and what we're doing. Because if we are tracking, it will tell us where the deficits are in our business and what we need to improve on. So
if we stay really, really focused on and disciplined in command and opportunities, we can, you know, like I developed that, but I can't, I don't remember to put everything into an opportunity and do the tracking. So it's my fault for not getting back to that routinely, because every single client has to go in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like a checklist for it, Ira, just like you got to have a checklist for it. Yeah. I'm sorry, I interrupted someone. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, David. It's Kathy. I just was going to say, if offline you want me to show you the spreadsheet that I use, that's really helped me look at it from the bottom up, see if there's any merit to sharing that on a, you know, in a different time. But I'm happy to show it to you separately offline this call.
Okay.
But it really helped me get my head wrapped around what I needed to do and stay focused.
If you guys can just put your name in the chat box, if you would be open to like learning how to track your numbers and being accountable around your numbers, just put your name in. The reason why I'm asking for this, and send it to me privately, I'm asking for this because I'm willing to put the work in to help you guys if you want it. But if you're not going to do it, don't waste my time. Like, I'd rather just do what I do. But if you really want the help, I'm willing to help you guys. So if you just send a message to me with your name, I'll get after it and help you guys track your numbers. I know it will help you. However, I'm not going to waste my time if you don't see the importance of it in your business.
You want it in chat privately?
Yeah, because I don't want to put anybody on the spot. If they don't want to put their name in, don't put your name in.
I think, Dave, it also comes down to accountability. We tend to let ourselves off the hook. If you didn't make your calls today, well, I'll make them tomorrow. And, day after day, that slides by. I took martial arts almost my entire life. And it wasn't until I got an accountability partner that I actually stuck to one school and got a black belt. And then we went to another school and got another. So I wound up getting 3 different black belts at 3 different schools. But, I must have went to a dozen schools over 20 years and never made it higher than the rank of like, blue, red, purple, and then I would quit. But I had nobody to hold me accountable. And once you get an accountability partner, the sky is the limit.
I completely agree with you on that. My coach and the way I coach, Tony, if you don't have your numbers to me 24 hours before our call, we don't talk. So there has to be accountability. I so agree with you on that.
I think I kept them when I had a Tom Ferry coach paying $500 a month. I don't keep them when I have nobody I'm paying. You know what I mean?
It's the accountability. It's the accountability. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm the same way. Like, I know if I'm accountable to someone or I give someone my word, I'm going to do it. However, if it's just for me, I might make an excuse at times. So, I mean, we're all human. I get it. I just know that this is one of the most important things when it comes to running a real estate business is tracking and having accountability around your numbers. It's huge. And so it's a missing piece in a lot of people's business here. And we can't move forward with it being that way. It's just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, we could even start a small group where we hold each other accountable. Right. I don't know how it would look like. It might, evolve into something where, we could have a contest every month. And then at the end of the month, we'll, they get a prize or whatever it might be. How many appointments you had, how many calls you made, how many you converted, how many listings. And Yeah, maybe the prize is just a small trophy we pass around. You know, hey, most listings this month, or you know, whatever it might be, just to get everybody a little bit motivated and to share our numbers. Because if you're not sharing your numbers, you know, it's just on you to inspect them. And like I said, you'll give yourself a break. They weren't as good as they should have been, but you know, next month I'll kill it.
Yeah. I think sharing numbers is pretty huge, Tony, as long as you don't compare your efforts to someone else's efforts. Like somebody may have a goal of doing 250,000. Your goal might be 50 grand. You're not going to make as many calls and go on as many appointments. And that's okay. So as long as you can stay focused on your numbers and not compare yourself to anybody else.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying, Dave, is, you know, you don't have to put concrete numbers out there. You could have your own set of numbers and just say, I did 90% this week. I did 115% this week. And then, you know, it doesn't matter what your goals are, as long as you're hitting them regularly at 100%.
True.
I just find being new. Could you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just, you know, kind of talking at him. Sometimes I feel embarrassed saying it, but I just feel being newer, you know, that it's kind of overwhelming because I'll get up in the morning and like Gary says, you do spiritual, then you meditate, right? And then we got the morning call with James, and then we have this call. So it's like 9:30, 9:45, and I'm slow. So now I have to follow up. And a lot of times it's voicemail, and I have to keep going, have to put them in, you know, and then I have to call, and then you have to learn this, you know, so for me, and again, even though I've been in sales a long time, I find sometimes, well, not that that's bad, you know, but tracking, I agree, it's important. But my point is, I think I don't, A, being new and I don't have much, so I get a little, you know, discouraged, and B, because I feel sometimes overwhelmed.
I think that what's important is that you put, while you think that your volume is smaller now, it's about putting the system in place and getting into the habit of tracking it. Because if you can't manage it with a smaller number, as it grows, you'll be overwhelmed and you'll never get to it because it won't be a habit.
Right.
That's good advice. And then the bold law that always comes to mind, it's not about selling real estate, it's about following a schedule. And everything you said right now that you said is overwhelming. If you chunked it down and you just put from 8 to 8:20, James Shaw, from 8:20 to this time, here's what I'm doing, and you actually followed your time block, it wouldn't be overwhelming. We just don't give ourselves permission to schedule and actually time block the activities that are going to lead us to having a good business. And part of that should be tracking your numbers as well. So as a new agent, if you can develop that habit now, a lot of us, we are veteran agents, and it took us 4 or 5, 6, 10, 15 years before we figured out we need to be doing that. So if you can learn it as a new agent, then I think that's fantastic, and you can move forward with systems in place to be successful.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thank you.
All right. So, guys, I don't want to hold you. Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just had something to say. I don't know if this anxiety is amongst other people, but I just feel like there's something happening in terms of, I don't know. I'm just feeling like I'm getting anxious because the year's ending. And we keep thinking about October and, oh my God, we don't have enough time. And I feel like I'm getting to that drunk monkey point where, you know, the drunk monkey saying, oh, it's gone. The time's passed. You know, this year's gone. And I'm saying, no. We're just starting the whole thing right now. So with everything opening, I expected a little more. I don't know. I was more excited before it opened, and now I'm scared now that it's open. I don't know what's going on. It's like I'm going backwards instead of forward.
Wow.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Why do I feel like this? I don't have no idea.
I share that. I feel like I got to keep going. And I think it's like making you less productive than more productive. But it's got to get better every single day.
Every day a little bit
better.
Yeah,
I know. I think it's just every day. Yeah.
But I share that thought. Like I get in my head, I'm like, oh no. And I'll look like, oh, other people are selling, you know. I should be selling. I've done sales a long time. And I have to get that out of my head, you know, because my head is, you know. I'll be fine. This is like a therapy session, but thank you.
Our heads can be a dangerous place sometimes. But Ragini, I'll tell you that the year's not over and you still have plenty of time to get out there and make money. And even if those deals don't close by the end of October, then all that means is you have a stronger start to the next year. So there's always work to be done. You just have to focus every day. You can't look at 3 months out, 6 months out.
Right.
You have to focus on, it's June 16th. What are you doing today?
Right.
And then tomorrow, it's June 17th. What am I doing tomorrow? However, by tracking your numbers, you'll know what you need to do. You'll know, I have to talk to 8 people today and I have to book 1 appointment this week. So what am I doing today to make that happen? And that's why we need to track our numbers so that we can chunk it down to daily activity to not get so overwhelmed. Just day by day, focus on what you need to do.
Makes sense.
Yep. All right. So
That's perfect. Thank you, David. Thank you.
yeah.
It helped a lot.
Me too.
All right, so I'm gonna put some thought into it. I want to see all of us tracking our numbers. I want to say who's tracking your numbers, and everybody raise their hand because we should be. If we were working for somebody else, we would be tracking our numbers, or else we'd be fired. So we got to have that same mentality when it comes to our business. So let me work on it, and maybe on Thursday I'll come back to you guys and maybe have a sheet that makes sense. That's really easy. I don't want to complicate your life. It should be pretty easy to fill out, but it's something that should be done almost weekly in tracking your numbers.
Let me ask you, for those who have accountability partner and they're reporting their numbers, what are you reporting exactly on a daily basis? How many calls you called, how many appointments you go on? Like, how do you set, I guess I don't know how to set it up. Does that make sense? I don't know.
For my people, it's weekly, it's not daily. It's for the week, how many calls you made, how many contacts, how many appointments, how many contracts written. And it's
So
for
do
the
you
whole
set
week.
a goal like, okay, this week I'm going to call, I don't know, let's say 100 people. I'm going to talk to 100 people, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
And you're tracking how many calls you made to talk to 100 people?
Yep, we have our contacts goal for the week, and then we track how many calls it took us to get those people, and then we have an appointment goal for the week.
So kind of like the bold
Pretty much.
sheet.
Pretty much. That's it.
But you set your numbers according to whatever you want to do, I guess.
That's right. You set your own numbers, and then your accountability partner, if they are truly an accountability partner, they're saying, well, why didn't you hit these numbers? They're not taking your excuses. You can have reasons or results. If you want to have the results, you have to do what you committed to do. And if you don't do it, they need to be asking what kept you from doing it. Go ahead, Tony.
Right. And Hazel, you know, the reason why you do the tracking is because you say to yourself, how many calls did I make this week? I made 100, you know, this week. And how many appointments did I have? I had, you know, 5 appointments. And then how many of those? I had 1, you know, listing. Over time, you're gonna track your numbers and figure out, okay, I need to have a higher conversion rate. So now out of 100, instead of making 5 appointments, you're making 20 appointments. And out of 20, instead of getting, you know, 1 out of 5, you're getting 3 out of 5. And then all of a sudden, you don't have to make 100 calls in a week. You can make 30 calls in a week and still have 5 or 6 listings.
Okay.
You know, well said, Tony. Well said.
On you know, you track your numbers to see where your deficiencies are and where your strengths are, and you need to, you know, practice to make yourself better. And then all of a sudden, your numbers start to improve. Then we're all Ron Lugashis.
So you track your numbers to see where your deficiencies are. You record your calls to see where you need to improve. So if you're not converting and you're recording your calls and you listen to them, you'll see pretty quickly that you're, so what did they say on the call this morning? They said, tell and sell never gets as far as ask and listen. And if you start recording your calls, you'll see that you're talking too much and you're not asking questions and listening, and you're not closing multiple times. And so then, like Tony said, that gets your conversion rate where instead of 5 appointments, you start getting 10 or 20 because you start listening more, you start asking more questions, you start closing more. And so it's tracking the numbers and reviewing the tape on how your calls go. You have to do both if you really want to improve. Good point, Tony, man. I thought that was well said.
Yeah, and that I went on a preview with another agent. When we both got in the car, I said to her, wow, I didn't shut the fuck up. And she looked at me and she goes, you're right, you didn't. Again, holding me, not lying to me, but saying, yeah, you didn't stop talking. Yeah. It was eye-opening to have someone there who said, you're right, you were talking too much.
That's right.
Telling is repelling.
Yes. Why do you think you were talking so much?
Nerves.
Because I realized this person didn't know what they were doing, and I just was like, oh my God, you so need me, I need to tell you what to do. And it was all wrong. I got it.
All right, cool. Well, at least you learned from it, right? And you had a good partner who really checked you on it as well, which is important.
Yeah. It's the people that keep you real, and they're not afraid to, you know, keep you in check. That I love that. You know, I can take someone that's going to lie to me and say, no, you were great, you were perfect.
Yeah.
And then I keep doing the same crap I'm doing, you know, but someone that says, yeah, you talked a lot, that will keep me in check and say, okay, I know where I need to work on.
Yeah, I would almost tell you that if they're not keeping you honest, like, I don't think Seth is still on the call, or Patty, but Patty and Seth, no, Seth, they're still on. And Patty told me she was role playing with Seth, and Seth was like, we both talk too much. And they were like keeping yourselves accountable on the role play. And so you have to have that person who's going to hold you accountable, or they shouldn't even be your role play partner. They're not helping you get better. Find somebody else. They're wasting your time. You're wasting your time with them. So
I role play with Seth today, and I'm nervous. It's like,
Seth is good.
Well, she hung up on me. I do that tomorrow, but it was like, oh God, I'm not gonna get this.
All right, guys.
The mindset, Raj. The mindset. You're gonna
I'll
get
hang
it.
up on you too today, Raj.
That's it. And that's right, though, Hazel, your mindset. What you say, Raj, especially if it's negative, you start believing that. When you say, I'm not going to get it, and you make the call saying, I'm not going to get it, you're not going to get it.
You know, it's just keep saying, well, just bring them. And I'm like, got it. I'll text you my card. And that's the end of that.
Yeah.
So I have to change that.
You have to say, I'm playing the hang up game, and I'm going to keep pushing until they hang up on me.
Yeah.
You got to go for it. And when they say bring you a buyer, what do you do when they say bring me a buyer?
Where are you moving to when your house sells?
Thank you. You just go back to the script. You don't have to say anything but what your script says. Just bring me a buyer. Okay, great. Let me ask you, where are you moving to when you sell your home?
And it's a great thing, because if you don't know the answer to a question, or you can't come up like say, oh, just bring me a buyer, instead of going, you're going, okay, that's great. Where are you going to when your house sells?
That's right. Go back to the script.
I role played with Jason yesterday, and I thought it was fantastic. And I was like, that was fantastic. And he's like, no, it wasn't. You never gave me the appointment. And I said, but it was fantastic that you never gave up. You know, you kept going until I shut you down, but he kept going. He never said, okay, you know, I'm done. So yeah. I don't know. You learn from those a lot.
Jason's really good at role playing. Jason, would it be okay with you if I share with the Morning Mindset group your role play you did with Jenna?
Absolutely.
So I have a recording of Jason doing a role play with Jenna, and I thought he did a really great job. So if you guys want to see an example of a solid role play, I'll share the YouTube link on our WhatsApp group. You guys can watch them. It's like a 15-minute video, and you guys can watch it. And I think it'll bring a lot of clarity to how we should be role playing. However, Hazel, one thing I will tell you is that during role play, no matter how bad or good they do, we should always give them the appointment. We want to practice what we want to see in the world. And so if we practice and give them a lot of pushback, let them overcome it and ultimately give them the appointment. Every call should
never give the appointment to anybody.
Mean.
I will
you got to
change
give it
that.
to them, because that builds their confidence to get on the phone and make calls. And if they feel like you were tough and they got the appointment, they get off the phone with you saying, that's probably my toughest call of the day, and I got the appointment, so everyone else will be easier. And so, yeah, set them up and give them, stop being mean, Hazel. Give them the appointment.
Sorry, Jason.
Okay, I don't want.
All right. So you guys have anything else? If not, I just realized the time, and I know I've kept you guys well over time, so I don't want to do it too long. Anything else really quickly, or are we all wrapped up? Okay. Y'all be good, and we're going to work on tracking. So thank you guys for filling in the box, and we'll work on it. Talk to you guys soon.